Now we're going to look at how you can edit a profile of a person. If you're doing your own profile, you can always start in the upper right-hand corner of the SWIMS page and click on your name. As you can see, after I click on it, that takes me right to an editable view of my screen. Something to remember when you get to these screens is that anything you edit on the top part of this page needs to be saved by clicking Update. If you were to go then down and edit something here without clicking on Update, if you, for example, added or ended a role for the person, you will have lost whatever you had done up here. So any changes in the upper half of the screen, click Update. Any changes that you do from the green bar and below, those will be automatically saved. Let's go back to the home page. And although you can find people many different ways in SWIMS, including from directly in projects, is to just use the People tab and find. So I'm going to look someone up. And I know I still would like to see some updating done in Andrew Senderhoff's profile. So I'm going to look up Andrew. There he is. Now there's two ways I can get to his profile. If I click on his name, that will take me to his profile where I can click on Enable Edit to start editing. Or if I click on this first icon in this result bar, that little green box with a pencil sticking out of it, that opens up ready to be edited. So nothing needs to be changed on the upper part of this. Again, if I were to change anything here, I would have to click Update. But if we look at the bottom, we don't have an address. I don't have that handy, so I'm not going to worry about that. He's already added his phone number, or whoever started his profile, looks like I did, has. He only has one project listed so far, so that is definitely an area that needs editing. But I got to figure out, well, I know he's an LMPN coordinator for certain counties. What do I add? I can click on roles and see that because he is a public contact in this case, I've got all of his counties listed right here. So I just wrote down on the side of my screen here, I wrote down a list of 3 of them so I can give you these examples. So I'm going to go back to projects and show you how to add a project. And this is generally the same, whichever one of these items you're adding. So below the projects, you've got a dark title bar, and at the far right end, a plus sign. Anytime you're editing any type of profile, whether it's for a station, a project, a person, this plus sign will show up at the far right end of that title bar. And in this case, Andrew is going to be a coordinator for the projects that I add him for because he is a county AIS coordinator. And I'm adding them today, but he actually started back in January sometime. But these dates can be fluid. I can go ahead though, just for the sake of argument, I'm going to make it January 8th because I just happen to remember that, oh, wait a minute. Yes, Andrew introduced himself as having just started with Golden Sands on January 9th. So insider information. So I can't create it yet. I have to search for some projects. So I had something else in there, so I made sure to click reset. And I know that he's going to need AIS incident reports for each of his counties. So this is one I've typed in from doing many entry for people. So I just went ahead and picked it from what opened up as old searches. I'm going to search that. Now, if I only search that, I can get a list of all of the counties, and one of his counties happens to be Columbia. So I would click on the dark arrow, the black arrow, and then it would fill that in. Now everything I need is in here, and I click create. When I go down and look at his project list, it now includes AIS reports, Columbia County. And that would need to be done for each of his counties. Let's try one other thing. So sometimes for these county level assigned projects, you can put in the name or part of the name and then come down and search county. Sometimes that doesn't work. It depends on how it was set up originally. So let's see if it will work in this case for AIS Incident Reports, Green Lake County. So luckily that did work. And here's Green Lake County. I click the arrow. I change his status or his role to coordinator again. It's already got the date. I'll go back and I'll make it the date of January 8th and create. Those dates are helpful. They're not necessarily something that has to be absolutely right, but you'd like to have it at least close because to properly have the history of the person in their roles. So I've got 2 of his projects added, and now I need to go through and add all of the other projects. Although Andrew's a coordinator, so he can actually do this for himself. So I'm going to hope he watches the video and does that. Let's see what else we can add for him in projects. So everybody who is an AIS coordinator should also have the signage because you're all checking signage. So I'm going to put in signage installation. I don't need to type it all out. Let's see if that one works with I keep the county listed. I'm thinking this may not. It did. So there we go. I've already got the dates. Go ahead, get that date changed, create. And now he's got that. So this would need to be done for each of his counties for the different projects that everyone has in SWIMS. Unfortunately, it has to be done one by one at this point. Maybe at some point that will change. I want to show you something else in the roles tab. So as you can see, I pointed this before, he is a public contact for these counties. Now, the reason it's important to have that listed here in SWIMS along with your phone number and your email is this is what triggers SWIMS to send that information to the DNR website that shows the AIS contacts. So if I open another tab here, I actually have that link saved. That's what populates this map. So if I were to click on, here's Green Lake County, you can see that Andrew is listed as the county coordinator. And for some reason, his phone number isn't showing up. So I'll have to look at that and see what could be wrong. So let's go look at his phone number. It's mobile. Let's try something here. I'm going to click on the edit icon and change this to work mobile. That will usually get it to go to the correct, to show up on that web page. Now that's not going to change right away. So if I go back to the contacts page and click on refresh, I don't see that change yet. It usually takes 24 hours for things to change on this page. All right. Now everything's done. I'm going to click disable edit and he is good to go until somebody goes ahead himself or someone else enters the rest of his projects. Let's take a look at someone who's not an AIS coordinator and see what we might be able to do for them. So let's click on find. I'm going to click reset to clear the screen and I'm going to use Ziegler as an example for Jerry and Gerald Ziegler. So you may have seen this example in another video where Jerry was the original entry and Gerald was the duplicate. Now, I see that we still have Gerald listed as active for some reason. That reason is because I've been trying to figure out how to make these videos for you. So I'm going to use this as an example how to update Gerald Ziegler's profile. I clicked on his name to get here, or I can click on the edit icon to get here. Now, his status is not active. He is actually a duplicate. And I have a note already in here that says we discovered this was a duplicate record for Jerry Ziegler. So now that I've changed this on the upper part of the page, I need to click Update to save that. I can also make changes on the bottom if I need to. So we didn't have an address or phone. Projects, none were listed. I would add them the same way I did for Andrew. He does have a listing that I did in here, just using this as an example for external power edit. These generally don't get updated. They're not something we worry about a lot, but if you did want to update it, you could click on the icon. And then I'm going to give it today's date. I'll give it tomorrow's date as a correction. And you can see it allowed me to do that. You can do things in the future. And I'm going to click update. And now we see that role is no longer going to work for them. In this case, I was only using it as an example, and I can actually just click delete, but we'll leave that as that. I can disable edit, and everything will have saved down here because this is something done below the green toolbar. That's the basics, and if you have any questions, reach out to your DNR AIS coordinator. You can also reach out to the programs coordinators for statewide programs or the SWIMS help team whenever you have a question about how to edit a person's profile.